Hello there, and thanks for joining us again here on UPfront of the Joy News channel. There's good news if you're a Ghanaian. Obviously, you're happy about the latest trend of inflation in the country. It's below 4% now that we can officially tell you about. And for many of you who are wondering what's happening to the Ghanaian economy, the rate at which prices of commodities are now rising is slowing and moving into a single digit. It started off late last year, where, of course, we moved into the region of 5%, but it's now 3.8%. And many are wondering what kind of magic is happening to the Ghanaian economy. But you, the Ghanaian, would have to testify tonight as to whether or not you're feeling the impact of this whole economic rebound in terms of the prices of commodities on the market. Because already we've heard from the likes of Kojo Nkrumah and some other members of the minority who say that, look, the real impact is not happening in the markets. So as a Ghanaian, would you say that you're feeling the impact of this whole inflation decline? We've been asking the question online, putting up to you to decide what you think about it, as we're doing a citizen's perspective on the decline of inflation in the country. So let's get to it, because we've been asking the question online. And if you are online right now, go ahead, be a part of this poll that we've started on the Joy News page on X, because the poll is out there asking Ghanaians this very simple question, and you have that on your screens right now. Here's the simple question that we're asking, and by now I'm sure that you've seen that. The question is, Ghana's inflation, no doubt, has dropped to 3.8% as of January this year. It's dropping from 5.4% as to what was happening back in 2025. Because we don't want to do too much economics here, we're asking you as a citizen out there, are you really feeling the impact of what's happening to the Ghanaian economy in terms of a decline in inflation? And see what Ghanaians have to say. Many of you who've participated so far, we are asking more and more of you to join. But if you're getting a sense of what's happening online now, majority of you believe, and that's representing some 50.8% of you who voted so far, saying that, yes, indeed, you're feeling the impact of this decline in inflation. Mind you, we're not necessarily saying that prices are automatically reducing. It's just the rate at which prices are increasing. It's reduced now to 3.8. But even on the market, some of you believe that the prices are indeed dropping, as you can see on the screen right now. And for those of you who share a different view, the point is that 45.9% of you say that you're not really feeling the impact of what's happening to the Ghanaian economy in terms of the price, the level at which things are escalating in terms of price. You're not necessarily feeling that in the market. So some of you side with the minority in Parliament on that. And then there's a meager 3% of you who say, look, whether you're increasing the figures or decreasing them, whatever the case, 3% of you believe that, well, you're very indifferent about this and you're not necessarily interested, or even if you're interested, you don't really care about the figures that we are recording in this country. And because it's a live poll that is active, many more of you are joining, and that indication we're getting clearly shows that the slight majority of Ghanaians believe that, look, it's happening, it's reflecting. So why don't we do the economics first, and then get to my guests who are representing, of course, the Ghanaian, just a cross-section of them, to share their opposing views on whether or not the impact is being felt. We'll come back to this poll because it's running. And so if you're watching us now, you can just go ahead, be a part of the poll and tell us what you think about all of this. Hanson Date is a member of the National Democratic Congress. He's also a grassroots-driven individual, so he is a concerned citizen as well, member of the diaspora, and now living in Ghana for a while, just to experience what the NDC is calling an economic reset. We'll hear from him shortly. Then, of course, Kamal Amasama Broni represents the Alliance for Foot Soldiers Advocacy Group, which is obviously a known all-out NPP-affiliated grassroots organization. He was yearning for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to come. He's now the flag bearer of the party, maybe would connect that to the economy. Okay, but first, let me hear from the economists, because we need facts to work with. And then we hear from you, the citizens who've already spoken online, sharing your thoughts with us. Nicholas Bana is a development economist. The last time you were here, Nicholas, the ratings were so high for President John Dramani Mahama. You recall that Global Info Analytics was out with some figures telling us what they think about Ghanaians' approval rating for the president, John Dramani Mahama, in terms of how the economy is being managed. And now let's get to the real terms of the figures that we're seeing. When we say inflation is at 3.8%, explain the technicalities to us before we hear from our citizens tonight. And kindly unmute while you're sharing your points with us. Nicholas, I believe that we can hear you now, because the last time you were here, you're just giving us a bit of education on what inflation actually means.
All right, so thank you, Blessed, and thanks for inviting me. Good evening to your viewers and listeners. So when we say inflation is at 3.8%, this is year on year. The inflation figure we have now is for January 2026. So compared to January 2025, overall, inflation is 3.8%. So overall, prices and goods and services in January 2026 compared to January 2025 have gone up by 3.8%. That is what it means.
Yeah. So it's not the case that prices are. It's not the case that prices are necessarily dropping on the market. That's not what we are saying when we're talking about this inflation now, 3.8.
Okay, so the 3.8% is an overall average. So overall, prices have gone up by 3.8%. January this year versus January last year. But let me just add this for a little nuance. Now, this overall figure has been compiled from 307 items, from 57 markets, from 8,337 outlets. Overall across the country. Yeah. So it's a national average. So, Blessed, your personal inflation would vary from mine depending on what items I buy regularly and where I buy them.
Okay, so you're trying to say now that if someone tells us, for instance, just as we've heard from the likes of Kujopon Nkrumah and some other members of the minority in Parliament, when they say that this is not necessarily reflecting in the market, they are right or otherwise?
Yes, they are right, depending on who they are talking to. Because like I said, Blessed, your personal inflation is different from mine because it depends on where you buy your items and what you buy.
What do you buy?
And where you buy.
What do you buy? There's the kinkonomics. I'm sure you've heard that. People comparing the prices of kinky on the markets now. I'm sure you've heard that.
Let's take food items. Maybe you buy your rice from Melcom. Somebody probably also goes to Malata Market or Domi Market. I live in a shop, so I may choose to buy in Melcom or go to Domi Market to buy rice. Even in Melcom, you can even get fruits. Or you can even buy your rice from your container shop kiosks that are dotted all around us. So it's important to put that in context. Then the 3.8, anytime the Ghana Statistical Service puts out an inflation figure, is an overall national average. And so if you take it item by item, outlet by outlet, naturally there will be variations. I mean,
but just to be frank about this, because there's the political capital that many of the parties we're hearing from, are arguing about, and you know what that means. Do we commend government for what is happening? Because we just hear the figures, all the way from 54% drop down into the 20s. Now we're in single digits, right? Government deserves credit, or it's just a normal market behavior? Let's allow things to flow.
Oh, but government deserves credit because if you look at, for instance, the exchange rate is critical. The fact that the cedi has appreciated is critical to all the inflation numbers. Indeed, if you look at the numbers much more closely, the rate at which imported items have gone up by way of pricing is much lower than locally produced goods. And that is some item that, of course, policymakers have to look at. So just to repeat the point, on average, the prices of imported goods and services have increased at a lower rate than things that are produced locally. So it means that in the past, there was a time that imported inflation was a big thing because the city was appreciating so badly when we hit 16, 17. So and definitely, and the measures that the Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Ghana has done to bring city appreciation is critical. So definitely, government must take some
commendation. I know my guests are itching to have their take on this, but just finish this app. I'll come back to you. The point about even in some cases, prices of some commodities coming down. How do we term that? Because you're telling us that it's not entirely the case that prices are coming out on the market. But you hear some members of the NDC point to rice, for instance, and cooking oil. Right. We've had the argument that some of these prices are dropping. How do we explain that economically?
In fact, if you look at the numbers, the only item that has dropped is transportation. Every single item, the price has moved up January last year compared to this year. And later we can get into the much more detailed numbers. But overall, it's a 3.8% increase.
Yeah.
So it's not, I mean, and once again, when we say inflation is going down, it doesn't mean price and goods are going down. No. Price and goods are rising, but at a much
lower pace. Okay, the verdict, the jury, I should say, is out there. I'll come back to you, Nicholas, because you'll be helping us with all of the economic perspectives on this. But the jury is still out there, politically speaking, on how these two political parties feel about the whole impact. But, of course, much more closer to the base of the party are these two individuals that you have in the studio. And Kamal, I just want to start with you, because as time goes on, we'll be putting the poll out there. 51% as of now, Ghanaians say, look, Ekui.
Well, Blessed, I'll start by first and foremost greeting your viewers and my constituents and the MPP fraternity as well. Again, I would like to congratulate Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for his...
Is he still the economic whiz kid?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We just elected him, we'll get there.
Okay.
One step at a time. So let me congratulate him for his emphatic victory. At least a significant improvement from the last presidential primary that we held. And again, let me congratulate him for the award he just recently received. That's Order of the Sun Award as the most tolerant and peaceful African leader at the African Development Council Award. So it tells you the kind of leader, it tells you the kind of leader we have in Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, Blessed, if you look at the Bible, in the book of Mark 8, verse 36, it says, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Of what impact would it be if you have inflation at 3.8 and yet you go out there, the reality is staring at you? Listening to our economist, he himself landed on the fact that much as there is drop in inflation, but there are only specific items that have dropped. I think he said lorry fares, right?
Yes, that's what he's pointing to, based on the stats we are receiving from GSS.
Because if you look at the NDC government, they themselves defy the logic of their inflation. Why am I saying so? This is a government that tells you that inflation as at then was around 5 point something. It just recently dropped to 3.8. Yet, when it is increasing items, it doesn't even commiserate with their own inflationary rate.
Oh, how so?
Yes, because you increase the salaries of teachers, public sector workers, by 9%, only for you to go and increase electricity bill, way more than the 9% you give them. Again, you increase water bill to almost 15 point, let me get the figure here. Yes, so you increase electricity and water bill, electricity by 9.86%. and water by 15.92%. So in this case, you've given something to the worker with the right hand, and you've taken it with the left hand. If you are going by your own inflationary rate, then you shouldn't have increased this to that percentage.
The reason why I brought you in is that you represent the Alliance of Foot Soldiers. You go to the grassroots, you interact with the base of the parties, and of course, by extent, I'm sure some of them are even traders in the market. When you go into these markets, are you saying, because I have seen some videos online, social media, pointing to how some of the market women are praising government for managing the price of goods and commodities. Are you saying that it's not impactful?
I'm not an economist, so I'm going to speak the language of the common Ghanaian, which is the grassroots. You see, this Kenke politics, if you look at November 14, 2024, President Mahama made it a big deal. One of his reasons for saying that the economy was hard then was that he said the rising cost of Kenke shows economic hardship. Ghanaians deserve better. So let me also use it, go by that exacting standard. And according
You're using the same Kenke?
The same Kenke, because he introduced it as a yardstick for economy being a harsher one. And according to him, his major reason is that he highlighted the example of Kenke, a popular Ghanaian staple. That noting that its price has surged from 1 cedi during his administration to 5 Ghana cedis under the current.
How much is Kenke now?
So I'm coming. If under the 8 years of former President Akufo-Addo, Kenke moved from 1 cedi to 5 cedis, then we say hallelujah. In his administration, just 1 year, he's in his second year, Kenke has moved from 5 cedis to 7 cedis.
Yeah, but it's not explaining the rate of inflation that we have. Yes.
He has moved from 5 cedis to 7 cedis. In some places, it's even 10 cedis, just within a
Where do you buy your Kenke?
I buy my Kenke in Amasama.
How can you buy Kenke in Amasama for 10
Amasama is a Ghana community, and that's a car food.
And you are buying Kenke in Amasama for 10 Ghana cedis. Is that what you're telling us?
I said 7 cedis.
Okay, 7 cedis. And but yours is 10.
I said there are places that they sell Kenke at 10 cedis.
Where?
And viewers, when you ask viewers, I bought Kenke.
But you are the one saying that.
I bought Kenke at 10 cedis at Osu. 10 cedis.
In Ghana.
Osu is also not part of Ghana. And I'm telling you that of
Osu is part of Ghana.
Which is my constituency. And I'm telling you the Kenke is 7 cedis. If within 1 year, yours has moved to with 2 cedis increase, someone's reign within 8 years is just a 4 cedis increase. Let's even agree with that supposition. You get it. So it tells you that going forward, we should just brace for worse things that we are going to encounter. If this is it.
Even now, in the face of the figures, that inflation is
the same, yes. This is Prof. Bobkin. It says inflation at 3%, but borrowing still costly. So you see, in this case, what the economic figures we are seeing, to me, I'll just term it as a mirage. Because you view it, you see it just as I'm seeing it on the screen. But when I step down there, I don't get to feel the impact of it. Because the bottled water and the former President Nanado, which I used to buy at 3 cedis and 3 cedis 50%, is now sold at 4 cedis and 5 cedis. And that's the reality. There's nothing aggressive that any of you can do.
You just go back into the country. I mean, you are experiencing it now. How much are you buying your Kenke for? Because he's buying his at 7
cedis.
And 10 in some cases, 10 in Osu. I don't know which part of Osu you are buying your Kenke at 10 cedis.
Oh, but you don't know all the...
Yeah, so do you know that?
You don't know all the joints with Osu.
Come on, are you sure? Hanson, are you buying yours at 7, 10?
Okay, thank you very much. That is 7 cedi.
Yours is 7?
7, yeah.
So it's confirmed.
But he's saying it's on the high side. Okay.
No, but first of all, former president.
Let him land. I'll give you the time. Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to thank our current president, John Dramani Mahama, and his team. And we also congratulate Honorable Arthur Forson for the good job that he has been doing. Actually, we all witness the good work that NDC government is doing. But you see, even in the Bible, I remember my co-friend just mentioned the Bible. I also want to mention the Bible. There are some people called Pharisees and then the scribes. The Pharisees and then the scribes, they know the law. Okay? If you, let me say it well. If you talk about it, the scribes had knowledge of the law and could draft legal documents, contracts, etc., etc.
So you're referring to the NPP guys as the Pharisees?
Of course.
Why did the Pharisees? Because he's pointed out the figures to you, telling you clearly how the economy has fared. He's looking at the rate of increase.
Yeah, the rate of increase, it is not, if you compare to the previous government, it is very low. Let's talk about the first. Let's talk about the food. I was here in December. Last year, December.
During the elections, yes.
Yeah, last year, December, we're buying the price of rice was 450.
Yeah.
And this year we bought it 250, 350.
350?
Yeah.
You bought yours for 350?
Yeah, and 250. Yeah. Okay? So if you look at the difference, with that 450 of the previous government, I was able to buy even an oil, plus tomatoes. You understand?
Yeah.
So whatever the case may be, since they are in the opposition and they want to clamp, whatever the case may be, they will try to, throw dust into the people's eyes.
How?
By telling people that things are not, reflecting
on the market.
On the market.
Let me give you the transport example, because Isaac, I'll come to you shortly for you to explain that to me. We've seen the transport fares remaining where it is, in spite of even the drop in fuel prices, for instance.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be lying about that if he says, well, that's the situation that we're facing now, is it?
Well, if that is true, you see, during the previous government,
yes,
the MPP government, I mean Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia,
yes,
who claimed to be the wizard of the for the economist, and the former president Nana Akufo-Addo government. I refer to them, okay? You see, now, the price of the fare, as we are saying,
yes,
it keeps on remaining the same. Why? Because if we increase the price of the petroleum, and then you also increase the price of the fare just within a short period of time, it begins to shake the economy. You understand? So that is why...
So you're supporting the drivers now for what they are doing? Because it will stabilize the economy, you see?
To stabilize the economy, because now when we increase the petroleum, they can't increase the price.
But come on, and the reason why I also brought you in, later on we'll look at that, how your spending powers, as those in the diaspora, has changed over the period. But come on, let me bring you the point about, the kinkonomics that you brought in would be overgeneralization, isn't it, when you refer to that?
But listen, it's not. Unless you are telling me former President Mahama also generalized it.
Yeah.
And I'll agree with you. Because I just quoted him that he brought it as a yardstick to show the standard for which you can use to measure an economy.
Yes.
Because we use kenke, and he even used gobe as well. You should come to my community. Gobe has also increased as well. I'm also adding...
So for you, everything is going up?
It's not for me. That's what I buy. If you say for me, I'm not the seller. I also go and buy. I'm a consumer. So that is what the point is. You see, you are using gobe and kenke because we assume that that's the basic that every Ghanaian citizen, regardless of your economic standing, you can afford. So if you use that and you come in your administration, you are not seeing that, then we have issue or bone of contention to have with you. He defined us as Pharisees, and he ended up falling in the trap of the Pharisees, because as someone who you tag us as Pharisees, we agree, no problem at all.
Okay.
But when it came to the transportation fare, you see the way you were wobbling, because you should be able to tell us why, with the reduction in petroleum prices, yet we are not seeing the reduction. Because for you to commute from Amasama, from Accra to Amasama,
yes,
ordinarily you are supposed to pay, say, 10 cedis. But I can guarantee you that you may end up paying, say, 15 cedis to get to Amasama. Why so? Because the driver can start from Accra, bring you to Circle, Circle take you to Achimota, Achimota take you to Ofanko, then to Amasama. We all know the kind of price differential when it comes to this. So you may end up paying around 15 cedis. So to that ordinary Ghanaian, your reduction at the pumps are not reflecting in his pocket. So he's not feeling the drop in price. Rather, he's feeling the increase in his budgetary spending in this case. Because early in the morning, now people are not even getting the transport. When you come to Amasama, from 6 to 9, go and see the way students are stranded. Sometimes when I'm coming, I'm forced to pick some of the students, even in the pickup, to come and drop them up. Some people resort to this Uber and Bolt. Ordinarily, they are supposed to save, because if there's drop in the petroleum prices, meaning instead of 10 cedis, I'm supposed to pay, say, 8 cedis. But now if I'm going to resort to Uber to come to Circle, meaning I have to pay around 20 cedis or 25 cedis.
Well, that's
what becomes how do I feel the impact of your drop in petroleum?
There's this aspect we'll be moving to, which will be the exchange rate. For some, it's a blessing. For some, it's not, especially those who live outside the country, because they would have to send money back home. We'll get into that. I want to just bring in Isaac, Isaka, forgive me. Yeah, and the polls is still running, so we'll be giving updates on how it's faring now. Probably the team at the back will give us a sense of how Ghanaians are still feeling about the impact of this poll, which is live now. But Isaka, how do you explain that to us? You are saying that transport is down from what we're seeing in the data released by the Statistical Service. And yet, Kamal here would have to pick people from Amasaman, for instance, and bring them to the side of town. So is it not just figures that we're hearing of? And you're off again. Probably you'd have to, just do that for me. I hope you can hear me, Isaka.
Yes, yes. So I recall the earlier point I made. These are all average. So the data says from January last year compared to now, transport fares has gone down by 5.9%. That is average. Some people use Uber, some will use Trotto. Remember also that there are goods. It's not just about passenger transport. So it's an overall average. So Kamal's inflation, personal inflation, Amasaman can be very different from the national average. So let's bear that in mind. So when we say that transport, the data says transport has gone down by 5.9%, it's overall. Plus, let me just add, if you look at the data again, the items that had top high inflation items, ginger, 72%, plantain, 67.9%, charcoal, 53.7%, cashew, and so on. Palm fruit, abe, 41.4%. I mean, I'm just giving you examples of something that the data has captured. So there are a wide range of items that go into this basket. And that is why I made the point that depending on what you buy, whether it's goods or services, and where you buy them, and probably even the type, like in the case of transport, Trotro versus Uber versus Okada, goods, like personal inflation can vary. Let's bear that in mind. But at national level, this statistics looks like overall. But the good thing is that if you look at the data they've shared, they've also disaggregated it. And I'll give you the examples of items like plantain is day to day, where inflation is 67.9%.
Yes, that is all in the data set that Statistical Service has released. We all eat plantain, we eat fufu, we eat Kelewele, we eat in traffic, we buy all these plantain chips, don't we? And the data says 67.9% for that.
So Kamal, it's a personal thing, isn't it? You wanted to chip in something, Anson. Let me hear from Kamal first. He's saying it's personal. It might be your personal situation.
Well, the inflation is for all Ghanaians, not a personal inflation. The data they brought out, they've not brought it out.
You have any direct questions for him because he's saying it's personal.
When it comes to ginger, yes, I beg to differ. Because you should go to the Lima market. You can let your reporters go. As of 2024, ginger, a sack of ginger, the market women were buying it around 4,200 to 4,300. Today, as we speak, a bag of ginger is costing them around 6,000 Ghana cedis. And it's one of the expensive things on the market.
How do you know this one? How do you?
Because I use them. I buy.
Okay.
And my sister sells some. So that's what I'm saying.
You're not cooking up any figures for us.
I said you can send your reporters to go out there and verify. Malata market is just close by. You can let them do that verification for you.
I see. So how do you explain that? Yes.
We're talking of January 2025 versus January 2026. You are saying 2024, so it's important to cross-check this, please.
Yeah. So you're comparing two different periods.
You see, the bottom line is that the inflation, the rate of increase, nobody is saying that the fact that inflation is dropping means automatically things should drop. Yeah. But perhaps the rate at which things are increasing should be at least steadily. Is that not it?
Yes.
And I'm telling you that if even then, when inflation wasn't single digit, the market women were buying ginger at such an amount. Yeah. And today, with single digit, it's over around 6,000.
6,000.
You can't convince any Ghanaian. When I started by saying that I'm here to speak the language of the common.
That's what we're doing today.
I'm not speaking economics. That's the reality.
So you feel the economists are speaking?
The market woman will tell Dr. Is it Dr.?
Nicholas.
Exactly. Will tell you that the reality is that I was buying these things some years back at 4,200. Yeah. Today, with all your inflation and with all your appreciation or whatever, I'm now buying it around 6,000. That is the simple economics for the market woman.
Okay, let me do this. Let me just go back online. You wanted to chip in something? I was just going to bring the poll first online. Let's go online and see how people are feeling about what we're discussing now, because the poll is still active. We'll get that on your screens right now. We understand that it's even moved to 52%, I believe, by now, of individuals who are pointing out, Ghanaian citizens, obviously, just pointing out how they feel about this whole inflation conversation. And we have that for you now. Possibly we could go back to the figures. So it's now 52.5% in terms of the individuals who feel that, yeah, they are feeling the impact. And those who are in the minority now is around 43.8 from what I see. Yeah, and those who are indifferent, that's 4.2% now. So this is how it's faring. So the trend appears to be going up. Kamal, you should prepare. Probably I'll ask you again about this. But I want us to just figure out this issue and aspect about, well, it's not necessarily inflation, but we must put in the aspect about even the general performance of the economy and the reset agenda that the John Mahama administration promised. No doubt inflation is down and exchange rates, yeah, it's also performing well. So for you, that's all there is to show you that whether things are going otherwise, it's a good economy for you. Is that how you feel about President Mahama's economy?
There is nothing going on somewhere wrong. Everything is on the right path.
Yeah.
Just this evening. Okay. You see this yam?
And you're showing that to Kamal, yes, obviously. Yeah.
That is 9 pieces of yam. I bought it 100 cedis.
Where?
Here in Accra.
Okay.
Today, just today, if you can look at the picture, you see.
9 for 100.
For 100 cedis.
I can only let someone forward something to me, and I'll show you that.
Oh no!
But nobody was doubting nobody was doubting your authenticity at the time you were using that.
Listen. If you want to see the if you want to see the red, I can go and show it right now. Right from here, we go.
Now come out. Now you're doubting someone's prices. But you brought your.
I didn't say I'm doubting.
Yeah, but you brought your.
Right from here, I can send you to my house. Right from here.
I didn't doubt him when he said 9 pieces and he showed it to me.
Yeah, but you brought your 10.
When he added the date, then I said,
you see, if you look at since 2025 till date, the way things are going, you firstly said it.
I'm going by the polls.
Even including your own group.
Okay.
Your own group. They accepted it.
Why did they tell you this?
My brother. You see, everyone in this country has witnessed a significant change.
Okay.
It's a global. It's not only your area or wherever you are staying in. It's not in Amasamai. It is a nationwide.
But Amasamai people are part of the country.
No, he's trying to just...
There is your member of parliament.
No,
he's excluding them.
No, he's trying to say that the people at Amasamai or whatever. But what I'm trying to say, I'm talking about the global.
Picture of what?
The global picture of the nation.
And Amasamai is part of the global.
Accept that.
Okay.
So we should all understand that things are on the right path, except only, there are some.
I thought you said nothing was wrong.
No, nothing is wrong. Everything is on the right way. Everything. But there are some people, even in the Bible, we call Tobias and then the Sabbath.
So for today, you're really coming hard at
of course. The Tobians
come out because he brought the Bible.
The Tobians and then the Sabbath people. You see, whatever you do, even when the Israelites were trying to rebuild,
they will never appreciate. They
they say, "Wait, this will fall. This will never stand." You understand?
So do you see this standing for long, being a long-standing policy that will last? Because for him, it's just a sign that things are not going.
Because he doesn't have a foresight. So I don't blame him.
Really?
Yes, of course.
NPP
but everybody who has a foresight will see that how we started is how we are going to end it.
Come on.
Okay, so those who had foresight told cocoa farmers that they were going to pay them 65 million. Today, they are unable to pay them. To the extent that
6,500.
65 million. They used the old
6,500.
No, when they were playing the mischief, they didn't use 6,500.
6,000.
No, I won't use 6,500.
Okay, yeah.
I'm using 65 million. That is what the
you said 6,500.
6,500.
Atto never said 6,000.
Okay, let's go.
When we're using this thing.
Yes, okay.
Look, Joy, you people captured a story here where farmers are contemplating to issuing their cocoa farms. Good. This is Joy. That is 3rd February. Cocoa farmers consider smuggling land sales to illegal miners over 3 months arrears. To cocoa farmers, go and stand in the cocoa areas today and tell them, To the teachers that have worked, teachers you never even employed, that we employed, who have worked for 12 months, you have paid them only 1 month. Go and stand in front of them. Let me assemble them for you. And then you tell them, the students who are in school, who are paying higher academic user fees, let them come and stand in front of you. Then you tell them, To those of us who from January have started seeing increase in our electricity and water bill, come and face us and tell us, You can come and say only on Joy News set, but when you go other, you know, say, and you'll be an and I'm part of.
Come on, are you sure? Are you sure of what you're telling us now?
The things I've quoted, Joy News.
The other side,
Joy News, you issued a flyer where cocoa farmers are saying that they are considering issuing their lands.
Come on, you even in
you blame me for this?
An MP brought out Frito, there's a bag of rice, pointing out to how the prices are reducing on the market. Are you saying
I'm responding to say and the category of people do you agree that to the cocoa farmers as of today, will you agree to that?
I'm not a cocoa farmer.
No, but I'm asking you.
Unfortunately,
because Joy News published that. If the NDC should go to the cocoa farmers today, they'll have no story to tell them. Because for 3 months, they have not been paid. They are even contemplating how they are going to pay them because they know that with the world market now, with a drop in world market, they will struggle to pay unless government makes up for the shortfall to pay them. Meanwhile, you stood on various campaign platforms to tell them that the government, according to Atto Forson, what the government, Okoton Cocoa, Onchemo Ebasa, Oban Efekro na edi ebien ama cocoa farmers. This was the tree he spoke, the fancy he spoke. Today, he's faced with the reality. He cannot go there and tell them that ever since we came, instead of to divide it a basa and give you the two and take one, we are unable to do. That is the reality. To these people, you can't tell me that everything is well with them.
But are you not in the country?
I am in the country, and that's the reality I'm seeing.
And you're telling me that nothing has...
I've not used the word nothing.
Okay. It's not.
Listen, the last time we even had a program on Jeffrey, I acknowledge that I cannot come and stand and say everything is doomed. You understand? Or it's gloomy. I cannot say that. But I'm telling you the reality of the food soldiers down there, that the basic things you think is all rosy for them is not as you expect. That is what I'm echoing here.
So the market women we've seen online, are they real people or they are just...
But if the market woman or the market women were seeing some of this impact we are seeing, we would have seen a drop in the kenke price we mentioned. But as long as we are not seeing it, it tells you something else.
You see, as I said earlier on, it is very difficult for my brother to accept or to admit what I'm saying, okay? Because these same market women are the same people who are giving us the figures, the 46%, the 52%, and whatever that you just showed, okay? They are the same people at the market. And then if you go to the market, he himself, you know. But sometimes, you know, in politics, some people, when they see something, even it is white, they will still call it black. You feel it's all politics? But to my view, when you see something is good, you must say it. And when you see it is bad, so don't try to to fade it when it is good. You understand?
Let me bring you in, Isaka, because politics will not go away, and speculation about the economy and how it's going to last, perform. Are we in a bubble? Because the politics will go on at the base, yes.
Oh, well, the politics will go on, so that's normal. that would know. But you see, I think for me, we should, yes, the headline 3.8 is good. But like I've shared, the data also shows day-to-day items whose inflation are much more bigger. And that definitely is something we have to look at together with the policymakers to see how we address it, so that you don't have overall national average 3.8, and you have some particular items like plantain, which are hovering around 50%. That is one aspect. The second aspect for me also, if you look at the data again, is the regional trends, right? And that has always been with us. So if you look at the current data, Northeast inflation was 11.2, above the average. Volta region 7.8, Eastern 7, Western 5, a half of 5%. So some regions have seen higher increases in goods and services compared to the national average. And there are a wide range of reasons for this. And this is not new. It's always been part of our inflation figures. So those are the issues that I think that we need to spend a bit more time to understand why this is happening. And most importantly, how can we address them? The third key point for me, like I said earlier, is the fact that the prices of imported items have a lower inflation rate than locally produced items. So what it means then, it draws attention that locally produced goods are now going to find it more harder to compete with the imported items. And it's a free market. So those for me are the key issues we need to address. How come that, yes, we know CD has appreciated, but what can we do to support local industry so that their goods and services prices doesn't have a higher inflation rate than we have for instance, imported items? What are the issues? Those are the things that I think that when these figures come out, we need to spend time to discuss. Of course, the headline is good, but when you look at the data, the disaggregation, it reveals a lot of key issues that require attention.
Yeah, let's feed this into the whole plan, Accelerated Exports and Agri program, which the president announced as part of moves to revamp the economy. Because, yeah, if you're talking about inflation, there's no way you can't look at the other, external factors, if you want to call them, imports. And we're heavily dependent on some of the staples that we import. So what must that policy target in terms of addressing?
The issue of local competitiveness, even in our domestic market, is key. Because if you can't compete in the domestic market, then how are you going to compete? We talk about AFTA. You can't compete in Ghana. You're going to compete in Kenya, in South Africa, in Morocco, with other players. So domestic, the competitiveness is quite a key issue. And what are the issues? Of course, like I think Kamal or my other colleague mentioned, the increased utility prices. And inflation numbers capture that utility price, I think, is around 9.5% or so. Of course, we all know the problems with ECG and all that. And so how can these utilities be managed better, Ghana Water, ECG, etc., to ensure that we don't have these big utility price increases? When we look at the utility price increase, for instance, if you look at the justification that was sent to the PRC, ECG losses, they can't collect their money and all that. These feeds into pricing and the competitiveness of industry. Because when it comes to industry, you need the electricity, you need the water, right? And in some industry, electricity is such a major big cost. And that raises the issue of how some of these are critical state institutions, especially utility companies, are managed to ensure that they do things right and don't pass on unnecessary cost to increase everybody's inflation. For me, I think are the critical issues.
Yeah, I want you to do your own projection for me so that, of course, those who are watching will prepare on how to spend. Are we going to see further hike or will it go down below 3%?
Well, I think it's difficult to project because let's also understand that there's also a seasonal dynamic to our inflation, especially for food items. Of course, Northern Ghana harvest October, November, December. So in Northern Ghana, for instance, this is a time when there's food available. There's a hunger season. So there's also a seasonal pattern. Let's admit that, of course, especially for food products. During the main harvest season, food prices tend to be quite okay. You see moderation. But when we are off harvest, food prices will go up. I mean, like you look at pineapple. Pineapple is one of the items that is listed as a high inflation item by the Ghana Statistical Service in January, because this is not the main season, right? Of course, we know that in the main pineapple season, the price will. So some of that is a bit difficult to make a prediction. It also goes with a cycle, especially for the food items that are produced locally.
Okay, so which means that obviously There's a lot more work to be done. We need to go, we need to wrap up, but we can't wrap up without looking at one more time what many of you out there are still thinking about it, because this is what we're doing just to assess your own views out there as an ordinary citizen, looking at whether or not the impact is being felt. Before we go, let's look at the poll again online. The trend, as we see now, appears to be the case that many more of you are still talking about this. So, yeah. And this is quite an interesting one. At the time we're living, yes, still majority, but then it's dropped below 50%, 49.7% of you telling us right now, as you can see on the screens now, that you're not, okay, you are feeling the impacts of the decline in inflation. Except to say that it's come below the 50% mark. And now a bit more of you, 45.7%, are now telling us that, you know, it's not really impacting. But for the indifferent ones, 4.6%. Come on, whatever you do, it's still in the majority of Ghanaians, the trend, looking at the trend. I'm not saying, because this is not the end, it will keep running until, I believe, the end of the day. They disagree with you, majority of Ghanaians. We need to go, though, but your parting words, what would you want to say?
No, Blessed, they rather disagree with you.
They disagree with me?
Yes, they disagree
how?
with you.
Look at the figure.
I'm coming.
49.7%.
How is that when we started, those who said yes were around 50 plus.
Yes,
is that not it?
Yes.
So it's declining. So it tells you that if we should leave this pool for some time, it will decline further. Oh. So they rather disagree with you and not...
you don't agree with my figures. But it's 49.
There's an article I read on Modern Ghana Web, written by Dr. Stephen Giso. And the headline is, why CD appreciation has not brought down prices in Ghana. And it is very, very refreshing. I just want to highlight the things he mentioned. He said, currency strength without industrial growth, high cost of doing business, business uncertainty, external factors. All right. And these are some of the things that then affecting the reason why we are not seeing what's the name, any impact of the appreciation. The reason
is there a message for President Mahama? We need to go.
The message I have for President Mahama is that he's ever since he assumed the presidency, he's kind of a bit far from the Ghanaians. So many of his people will come and tell him things that if he doesn't take care, he will believe them, only for him to come and see the reality.
Hey, come on.
It would have been too late. No, in 2016, between 2013 to 2016, it was like that when Doomsaw started. It started with self-denial that it wasn't Doomsaw. Later, he saw the reality. He had to force ECG to bring out.
And now it's what?
By the time he got to know, we were sleeping in darkness. We couldn't even follow the timetable of the Doomsaw. Same thing that if he doesn't follow the trajectory of what is happening closely, and he wants to listen to my elder brother here, that you end up leaving government, and you notice that what the likes of Kamal and Co were saying, Obiasi and Yeni Krakran say Obiasi and Ye.
Oh, yeah, rather.
Oh, yes.
Hansen, we need to go.
Okay.
We need to go. Yeah, just wrap up for me.
In fact,
briefly,
we will thank our President John Dramani Mahama and his group. We have all witnessed the good job that they have been doing. And now the nation as a whole, we are very much appreciate about the effort, because we all know how these people, how they left the economy so in mess. And if you look at just within a year, how President and his team has been able to turn things around.
You believe that's a good one?
Are we able to reset the nation just within a year? It tells me that the president is doing a very wonderful job.
You know what? The argument will continue. Many of you online sharing your comments and your thoughts with us. Isaka Bana, thank you for joining us remotely and sharing your technical expertise with us. Kamal, Brony, and Hansen Date, thank you all for spending time with us here on UpFront. Keep voting, keep joining the poll, and perhaps at the end of the day, we'll go back there. Kamal says people disagree with me. I'll go back there to check what Ghanaians actually think about this. But grateful for your company and sharing your citizens' perspective with us here on UpFront. We'll see you again. It's a wrap from us. Until then, log on to myjoyonline.com. More stories there. Bye-bye.